And hello, movie lovers. So today I actually have a very special guest with me. Actually, I Will from Conversations About Dot Dot Dot. I also have Jason joining us as well, and I also have in the front row Jamie herself and my good friend Tamika. We're going to be doing part 2 of the Flash review. This is actually our spoiler review. We didn't get a chance to go ahead and finish up our review from last week because I had a tornado warning, but it's good to have everyone back here again to be able to do this. So without further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's get on with the show. Hey guys.
Hey,
what's going on?
Hello.
Not much. Good to have everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very nice to see you back, Jace.
Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you. Internet was going in and out, and it was just a bit weird.
Man, look here. You in an Imperial fighter?
I do spend my days on the TIE fighters, and
I love it.
All right. With that being said, we are going to be reviewing The Flash. So I know that we left off with the fact that we ended up leaving off with some positives along with some negatives and some things that we liked and some things that we didn't like. I know that we were talking about Supergirl, and I just got to say this: I really love the appearance of Supergirl whenever they discover her in the movie itself, because everybody's thinking, oh, it's going to be probably another Superman, which we knew that it wasn't going to be, but the characters from their lenses and everything thought it was going to be another Superman. And I just thought that the introduction to Supergirl was fantastic. I thought they gave her a lot to do compared to what I thought they weren't going to do. And even though she didn't have that much dialogue, I thought that she did a pretty decent job for what she had compared to what I thought she was going to have. But what did you guys think?
Personally, I think she I think she was greatly casted. The chick herself who played her was very well done. I think a bit of the choreography for the action scenes with her were a bit where it fell short for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it just looked like she was making a Debo pose and then just like it was just wasn't a real fight scene for me in any way, shape, or form for a Superman. And it was just. But other than that, like, she portrayed Supergirl very well.
What for you guys?
Who's going to go next?
Macho Man?
Let me tell you, man. Yeah. Macho Man always finds a way to talk about his favorite stuff. I'm going to say it like this.
You got out of character.
I kind of got out of character because I could do it the whole time.
Take
but
the glasses off. You're going to be out of character.
Okay. So if I don't, okay, fair.
Okay.
All right. So in all reality, here's the deal for that. I felt like the Supergirl fights felt like a little bit more like Dragon Ball Z, if Dragon Ball Z was done somewhat well. Not that we've had that live action adaptation yet. So yeah, it does seem a little bit bookish as far as the whole, like, just I'm staring at you, Zod, and now I'm just going to fly in your general direction. I feel like Supergirl as a whole, I love the flying stuff that they did with her. I thought it looked really dynamic and cool. Her flying was much better than some of the running I saw being done over the course of the movie. And then a movie called The Flash. It's kind of weird that the girl that flies around looks better than this running guy.
Yeah.
So that's my thing there. Is I can't be mad at her. And then also I love how they kind of mashed up different versions of Supergirl, Superwoman, some of the other comic book versions of Supergirl into that version. Plus, they were inspired by Henry Cavill's costume, of course.
Yes.
For it. You can kind of tell that in the design. And so I thought that was really cool. I appreciate the fact that the few times you do see her is, like, for example, the whole Barry needing to get shocked by the lightning again. And so she's just like, I'm going to fly him up there.
It looked like a Dr. Frankenstein type of feel to it, where it's like, well, this lightning is not hitting him the way it needs to. So you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and fly him up there to fry him even more. It just felt like
lightning normally works, but sure. I mean,
right.
Go figure at that point. We've already kind of jumped the shark fourfold. I mean, the baby scene alone was enough to kind of jump the shark. I mean, we jumped the shark at this point in this film so hard. It's just like, well, yep, we're going to fly into the lightning. And Supergirl doesn't get hit at all. It's just Barry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Don't you know? She's not conductive.
Yeah.
It's in the suit. She doesn't get shocked because of the suit.
Yeah, the whole Benjamin Franklin experiment was interesting too. The kite and the wiring and everything else, and the electric chair was a bit disturbing, but it's fine, since
Which
about
that's from the Flashpoint comics too. So at least it had those moments from the source material at least. I mean, yeah, and so I mean I'm not going to knock
reverse
it.
Flash. Yeah.
Well, that's a whole other story. we talked about that on my show. That'll drop next week, where it's just like people are like, "Oh, it's the Reverse Flash. Oh, it's Zoom." It's like it wasn't either, really.
Right.
But yeah,
I was hoping that it would be Zoom for this one, to be honest with you, because it looked like they were setting up for Zoom, and then whenever it got to the point where we see the grand finale of it, it's just Barry.
Well, I mean, it's actually Savitar.
Right.
Like, it's actually Savitar. Like, it's Barry, but like it's that version of him that got twisted and manipulated within the Speed Force that had just like kept trying to fix. I think the original iteration of Savitar is him trying to save Iris, not his mother. But this was kind of the exact same feel.
Yeah. And Dark Flash is a different version of the brother of Wallace West, the Black Wallace. In the comics, if you read at some point during the DC stuff, you have a Wally West who's the redheaded white dude, and then you got Wallace who's the black Wally. And they're both referred to as Wally, which isn't confusing at all, for any reason. But anyway, so basically, like, this is the brother of the Black Wally that is the Dark Flash in the New 52. So it's just a mashup of a bunch of different Flashes.
Which the New 52 is not even canon anymore either.
No.
So, because they had the rebirths.
When you're about to kill a universe and reboot it with James Gunn, you got to go somewhere.
True.
Thanks, James.
Although I don't know if we totally have rebooted it, but I mean, that was the goal, right? This was supposed to be the thing. Launch the new thing off that we still have 2 movies for that James Gunn had nothing to do with. But
what about you, Jamie?
With the Supergirl thing, I'm a little bit against everyone. I was a little bit disappointed. When I think of Supergirl, I think of like hopeful and, just full of spirit. And she was a little bit, I don't want to say depressing on screen, but I mean, she was just tortured. You know what I mean? I completely understand.
I think the difference is the one thing, and I'll just, the Supergirl that we're used to has her nephew. Like, the Supergirl we know got to see her nephew grow up and got to see, like, the iteration that we know, she didn't get to fulfill her mission. Her mission was failed, and I think that's why she's so bitter and angry.
Yeah.
Well, and also, if you got buried under a government facility, and they kind of played her up again as parallel to the Superman version that was in Flashpoint, where he had never seen light. He crashed, and they buried him as soon as they found him. They buried
I don't
him
think she had either, because when she went out there in her suit, like, she was really soaking that in. You know what I mean? So I think the same thing. She was.
Yeah, they were playing it kind of as a parallel between that and her, to where, she does have a line in there where it talks about the hope thing. Like, do you know what this S means? Mm-hmm. It means hope, and for our people, but Zod ain't our people. Zod ain't us. Like, he ain't invited to the cookout type situation. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, not since that one time.
No, Michael Shannon, you're not invited to the cookout. I don't care who. Look, you're not even bringing plates. You ain't bringing cups. You ain't bringing nothing. You ain't invited.
Yeah. When you knock off an infant, see you later. But yeah, I don't know. It was just an adjustment for my brain, I think, to see her so just gloomy. I expect that from Batman. Supergirl, I expected a bit more spirit, but I understand why, because as I said, she was tortured, and I completely get where you're coming from, Jace. But and I know that she's got great intentions. Like, she did come back and she did try and help them in order to, protect this Earth that she's now on. So yeah, I completely understand. But I'm like, in the future, I want to see her, smiling and super, like the Supergirl that I really like. So I don't know.
The thing that I like, though, too, when she's like, well, why should I even bother saving your planet? Because of what they did to me. And then Barry's basically that light into her darkness and be like, well, because the world is worth saving. versus just one person that's making it seem bad. And for that moment, you can see where she's like, you know what? I'll go ahead and protect the Earth because of Barry, because he's like that light into that darkness. So I'll do that. And that's something I really liked, was all of a sudden her character kind of lights up just a little bit. But I understand the dark and gloomy, and that's not something you're expecting, because you're expecting her to be like the old school Supergirl, where she's basically happy-go-lucky kind of thing in a sense. But also, too, this one's been tortured, so yeah, you actually have a little bit of a dark tone with it. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that, Jimmy, though, too. Another thing, too, is I thought it was really funny to see Barry have his powers back, and then you have the other Barry takes the old Batman costume and then
chopping off the ears.
Chopping off the ears.
The disrespect
spray paint on it.
Boy.
And I whispered over to my wife when I seen that, right? I said, this is what happens when you order your costume off a Wish.
Mm.
Timu.
Yeah. Right. DIY did good.
He shot like a millionaire and got ripped off.
I was so pissed when I saw that. I was like, it's bad enough, Ezra, you're Ezra. But also you have to disgrace the Batman suit. And then it was like that silent cut. It was like,
just rubbing it in.
It was like nails on a chalkboard. I was like, oh my God.
Here's my question. And it was my biggest problem with the movie that I really haven't thought about till just recently. If they had timed that a bit better, I think the movie could have done better. Here's what I mean. Remember, let's go back in the Wayback Machine a little bit. Remember when The Matrix came out? Right before The Matrix came out, there was a movie called Equilibrium that came out with a slightly younger Christian Bale and Tay Diggs. It was a really cool movie, similar plot themes, the whole emotionless thing and all that. And Christian Bale's got gun katas, and they're sitting there literally doing martial arts with gunplay and all this other crazy stuff. And then The Matrix came out and like a tidal wave destroyed it like a week later. Well, here's the problem. If Across the Spider-Verse is one of the coolest multiversal movies you got, why would you come out the week after that and try to tell a multiversal story?
I would have actually held back from that and put it out maybe 3 weeks later.
They
or maybe a
pushed
month
that
later.
movie back so many times anyway. You could have afforded to push it back 2 more weeks.
True.
Where's the
Because I'm sorry, because Across the Spider-Verse is a train wreck. Like it's rolling over everybody still.
That thing is a juggernaut.
Without the juggernaut,
yeah. But I do agree with you. I mean, they could have just held it back a little bit, even though they believed that this film was positive. But then again, every single DC film, they said, oh, this is like the best DC film ever. And everybody's at this time is like, okay, yeah, we believe you. Sure, we do. Because we've heard this over and over again since Batman versus Superman and so forth. So it's kind of hard to trust.
It makes me sad that they canned the Batgirl movie now. Because I'm like, this is what we got instead? They canned a Batgirl movie that was finished, and they couldn't do CG that was good for this movie. We couldn't see Batgirl like at all. Like you just tax wrote off it. Like no, you're not gonna see it on streaming service. Nothing. Nope. Nowhere. Nope. We're not gonna you ain't even gonna get to see it on bootleg at a Comic-Con.
I'm gonna find it.
We can tell a mission.
It's my life mission right there. I'm gonna find that.
See. Your mission is that movie. My mission is Song of the South.
No.
I want to have Song of the South and do a Song of the South with my co-host. Just so we can sit there and just be like, yeah, let's do this.
Go ahead.
But another thing that I thought it felt like Michael Keaton didn't even miss a beat. It felt like he never even missed putting on the cowl at all. Mm-hmm. And that's something I liked. He was so in tune, so glued into this role. And then whenever you see him with this old technology fighting over into this desert, and he's trying to take down Zod, and he doesn't know that that's not going to hurt him at all because he hasn't had enough prep time to do anything, to research anything. And it basically he winds up destroying one of them, and then after that he tries to go after this big one, and then winds up killing him. And then Barry decides to go on ahead and try to go backwards a few minutes and try to save everybody again because Supergirl gets stabbed. Everything is just in total chaos because of that. And it's like a butterfly effect. You keep on doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't change anything. And the definition of doing the same thing over and over again is chaos. And I just felt, and that was something that I was actually shocked to see in a way where we actually see the bad guys win. But then after that, I had to go back over to the Spider-Man movie too, where it's like, well, this world is doomed to fail. This world is doomed no matter what you do, like Osborn said. So either way, either outcome it goes, it was meant for them to be destroyed.
Inevitable.
Mm.
Yeah, the outcome. And even Zod collecting Supergirl's blood, like that in itself could have been its own movie. Like, okay, what are you going to do with this blood? And then it was like, don't worry about that. Come back over here. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, okay, sure. I just forget about that. I'm sorry. I don't know. He just went back to his spaceship twice, basically, like stabbed her twice. I think that was the excruciating part, is seeing Barry try again and again, and it's the same outcome. It's like she gets stabbed again and again and again, and then we gotta watch Batman die again and again. And I'm like, this is some sick shit right here, man.
I mean, stuff like that would make you go crazy. It would turn you into this freaking jaded thing where it's like, I gotta fix it. I gotta try and go back. Like, I completely understand like the whole rationale of like trying to get through this and trying to get, save them both. But I think it's a beautiful message to just be like, some things you just can't change. Some things are just, you gotta let go.
I thought it was interesting too.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jamie.
I said it would have been a big burden on his brain as well, because his mentality at first, like his original intent was to go back and save his mum. And then obviously over time, or replaying that same death scene, he realizes that he's destroying the world, like not just his mum, this whole
universe
is gone. So obviously he's obsessed with trying to fix that, because that's a way bigger burden than just not having your mum around, like as brutal as that sounds.
Yeah. And I like this whole entire deal. Just the green alone, whenever you see the world, it kind of reminded me of Wizard of Oz in a sense, with the coloring of it, where basically you have the world of the Supergirl, then you have Nicolas Cage, you have all these people built up into this world, and I thought it was a perfect homage to everything that we had in the past, and then trying to move, and we're trying to move on just as Barry's trying to move on. So basically, we're trying to forget about the things from the past and move on and move forward. And I thought that was also a message to us. Sometimes it's better to leave things in the past than it is to leave things in the present. So that's something I thought.
100%. And that comes full circle back to what I explained as my favorite scene in this whole movie, which was the Ben Affleck speech about don't go back and change the past. The past is what made you who you are, and there's nothing broken about you that needs fixing. And stop it.
I loved it.
Right there. Like, you don't need to go back and fix things. There's no need.
I just dig the fact we have nurturing Batman.
Yeah, right.
Right.
With no Robin. It's like Ben Affleck is like the coolest Batman. Like, he's truly like the Bat dad. He's like, Barry, you don't have to do this. You can just the scars of you have to break it. I was like, Batman saying this? Like, I can understand if Superman have been saying it maybe, but like Batman in the comics and everything is over like, suck it up and don't do something stupid, Barry. That type of thing. But in this thing, he's really like just concerned, Considering it's Bruce and not Batman, it makes it a whole lot more meaningful versus coming from Batman. Batman is the alter ego, so I think it would actually make more sense for Bruce to do it rather than Batman. And I can argue that Bruce is the alter ego. Bruce is the alter ego. Bruce died that day in the alleyway with his parents. Batman was born that day in the alley. The facade is Bruce Wayne.
Now getting some deep wounds.
So, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, well, your first
for
mistake
sure.
was saying Affleck was a good Batman. So
I enjoyed him.
Hey.
I mean, he is, but
Yeah.
I am biased of Michael Keaton. You should have said he is a great second.
Really? We can't tell, Tamika. They cut off his ears. How disrespectful. I
You
want
know
to
what? I want
write about this.
I wanted Michael Keaton to say, "What the hell are you doing?"
I need more Michael Keaton. That's all I gotta say.
Look, who knows, man? We might get a Michael Keaton movie out of this. I would love to see Michael Keaton come back as the older Bruce Wayne, and they do the actual Batman Beyond thing that's
Mhm.
Thank
and
you.
That's what I
keep
like.
that Batman.
Yes. Okay.
I doubt we will. Keaton's getting up there. I'm sure he
No,
doesn't want to
never,
be
never.
plowing
No.
around.
Okay,
He wants his role.
No,
He
no,
wants it.
no.
You're not wrong in the age
He was
department,
good.
but
Did you
old
see how
Bruce
he
wasn't
hopped on
young
that table?
either.
He was good.
He was great. No, of course he
Cut
was.
that
But that was
Parmesan
also
cheese
probably a
off.
stunt
Do
double.
you see that? Do you see that? He threw that
He was
shoe.
probably a
He doesn't
stunt
need to be-
double.
He doesn't need to be jumping around and
See
kicking
it?
people's butts and all that stuff. And old man Bruce, he just sends Terry to do all that stuff.
Did you see it? Huh? Did you see it?
Don't you go disrespecting the elderly here, Jace. Look what you get,
just ready
mate.
to
Look
fight.
what you get.
You're like, I'll fight right now. Leave me more Keaton.
Yeah. They want to see him in that walker, okay? They want to see him crawling
Yeah.
along and fighting crime.
Yes.
Leave him alone.
Yes.
Just like Clint Eastwood.
He just hit them with
Clint
a cane.
Eastwood can do it, so can Michael Keaton. Okay.
God.
Clint Eastwood is 200 years
I'm
old.
about to say,
He's still doing movies.
if he's 200 years old, Harrison Ford is almost
I was just
150.
about to say,
Harrison Ford is doing
Harrison
it.
Ford's gonna be doing another Indiana Jones movie, okay?
It's
And he's gonna be president of the United
190.
States in the new Captain America movie. So I'm just saying, Michael Keaton can get in there and be old man Bruce to a
Mhm,
young
he threw
Terry.
that shoe. You saw him throw that shoe, right? And that Parmesan cheese and stuff.
Mhm.
He did
You
good.
saw him throwing his stuff.
They talk about, you guys want something to eat? It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
You
yeah.
saw him
Yeah,
leap
we'll
out
do
of that
that.
closet. Yeah, he did good. Hmm.
Michael Keaton is the best Batman from back in the
Yep.
day.
That's two
My wife
votes.
Yeah.
He's hard.
Yeah.
See, he married a smart woman. See.
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're good.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay, answer.
Should they have revealed who killed Barry's mom in the movie?
I think it was better left undone because of the fact that, number one, you would have to make another Flash movie.
That's true.
And this is supposed to be like the last movie into the DCU, and after that is Aquaman. But I think if they went on ahead and did that way, you would have to make another Flash movie. And therefore, with this movie flopping and everything, I just don't see them going in that direction.
Yeah, I don't think they should. Yeah, I don't think they should have, just because that would have left a huge like plot hole, not even plot hole, but like just like question to everyone, just like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Who is this? Who is this guy? Reverse flat? What? Huh?
Too much.
Who? Huh?
That's true.
And like people
Right.
who aren't like really into comics books and the shows and all these things like we are would probably be very much confused on what the fuck is going on.
I'm sorry,
That's
but
true.
I'm one of those people that he's talking about, and I couldn't give a rat's about who killed her in that point in
Ichabod
time.
Thorne is a menace to society, and Reverse Flash needs to die.
Okay. But in that point in time, I was just like, how's he going to save the world? Like, yeah, I wasn't really interested on who killed his mum at that point in time, to be honest.
But
I just like the fact that they wrapped up the fact that, it was all about proving Barry's father innocent and left it with that versus it being where, who killed the mother? I like the fact that it was more about proving the innocence of the father versus having two different plot lines going on at the same time. I think it would have been too much for the film already. We were already clocking at 2 hours and 40 something minutes already. So to add in the killer of Barry's mom, I think that just having the loss of losing the mother was enough. And then having to lose his dad in prison was enough for me to where I was like, okay, I'm more invested in that versus who killed Barry's mom. That was just me, though.
Yeah, that was the same opinion I had.
Yeah.
And
I did wonder the whole time. I sat there like, are we going to get to see Zoom? Are we going to just have a moment where there's a yellow blur sitting there with a knife? and then he runs away before Dad comes in. You know, and the reason I say that is because I feel like there's that point where Barry's whole thing was, well, if Dad had been home, this wouldn't happen. I'm like, well, whoever killed her could have just killed the dad too. We don't know who killed her. So if it
But
was
the way that they played that off, though, was that the person thought that the house was empty, and that's why they came in like as a robbery. That's what they set it up as. I'm pretty sure, didn't they?
That's true. That's true. They did say that.
I got the impression that they only entered because they thought the place was empty. Like if the dad and her were dancing, which we know doesn't happen in that house, they probably would have robbed that house.
They aren't really in love.
Sorry, I still can't get over that.
Wait. Expand on that. Hold on. They don't dance together? What? Wait. Talk to me about that.
In part one of our last stream.
Part one. You guys see part one.
Part
one was imagination.
We were talking about how cringy it was that, well, not cringy, but the son and like young Flash and the mum were dancing and everything was beautiful, and then the dad just walks in and they're like, their dad was just like a wet rag, just throwing.
Yeah. What are you guys doing? Dancing? I'm like, yeah, go away, fool. Get some tomato sauce and get out of here.
Yeah.
Get the tomato sauce. Go to the grocery store, get me some tomato sauce, sucker.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a good time. I had fun with
but
it.
Then I liked the whole entire tornado part where you actually see the different things that Barry's done and then decides, you know what, I'm actually screwing this up even more. So I'm just going to have to let my mom go again, and sacrifices what he loves to save the world. Now that's a hero.
Yeah. And
not about his own self. So he goes back over to the supermarket, puts the sauce back on the shelf. And I like how he gets to have that one confrontation between his mom and him and just be like, and she's like, do I know you? He goes, no, I'm out of town. And and she's okay. And he's just crying. And this part made me bawl in the theaters. Like, I was like, this part made me tear up and caught me with the feels. And, even my own daughter, though, too, she was also having that emotional attachment to that character, too. And I just thought that it worked. I just thought it was a beautiful scene. And him putting on the clothes and stuff like that in the supermarket, I thought it was very smart and very beneficial to that character to just have that one heart-to-heart moment with his mom. What about for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. We all know that I cry in anything emotional, and that especially when we got to the I love you more. Please just stop. My heart can't take it. Beautiful, totally beautiful.
It was beautiful when the mom was looking at his eyes, because there was that line at the beginning of the movie, whatever, he had come in and the other Barry hadn't come around that yet. It's just like, oh, you shaved your hair. I can see your eyes now. And so she looked at his eyes that time. And so I thought it was interesting that she didn't pick up on the fact she had looked into those eyes before. And so I wondered if she knew, but she just didn't say. Because she's sitting there talking about it. He's like, she just looks at him like this glaze of familiarity comes over. And I admit I shed some tears too. And then when I realized when he basically switched the cans so that his dad would have to look up, I was like, did he learn nothing? He just did the same thing that he did. He put the can back, but then he moved all the cans of tomato soup up on the top shelf so that he had to be able to look. What did you learn? What are the rules, Barry? You know what the rules are. You know, that's
weren't one of those moments, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's why if it wasn't for him doing that, he would have been back where we had Batfleck and not George.
Batfleck.
Not the Clooney verse as they're calling it now.
Right. And like my wife said, they could have left George Clooney out and put Christian Bale in.
Christian Bale would have walked out. You would have understood a word he said. Wordsworth.
Martha,
Barry, Barry, I need a lozenge. Barry, go give me a lozenge.
Trigger.
Oh, I'm so much better now, Barry. Hi, I'm Bruce Wayne. All I need was a cough drop the whole time. My goodness, that's incredible.
It took me like 2 days to figure out why George Clooney was in. I was like, what happened? And then I was like, okay. I should have called y'all. I should have said, hey guys, what happened? And I could have spared myself 2 days of being confused.
Oh, you didn't see that? You didn't see the brief cameo of Arnold Schwarzenegger running around going, "Nice to meet you," as Barry was running around in the fight scene against Todd.
I was like, oh, his dad got off. This is good. Going in here, okay, weird. 2 days. I wasted 2 days, and I could have called y'all. I'm sorry.
I would have laughed so much harder if Chris O'Donnell showed up too. On the other side, he's just like, "Hi, this is Robin." Who the heck's Robin?
He pulls up on a bike.
Alicia Silverstone shows up as Batgirl. We just bring the whole group in.
No, please, no. I'm already triggered from that movie. Come on.
Joel Schumacher's driving.
George Clooney chest. I was like, oh.
Trust me, I even tried to forget it too. I tried to give away my Batman and Robin DVD after we got done reviewing it.
No, so
that was a good soundtrack, though. That soundtrack was good. Mm-hmm.
Yep, Seal.
Look, any Batman movie that didn't have Bat Dance on it by Prince is not good by comparison.
Well, Seal was pretty good now.
Seal was all right.
He got a kiss from a rose.
Kiss from a rose. I get it. But not as good as Bat Dance.
Mm. Well,
but all in all, though, I thought the courtroom scene was really good because we believed that maybe the technology, or maybe they did something with the video footage to show the innocence was perfectly well laid out until you get to the whole entire moment after the court, after they plead him not guilty and he's innocent and you're celebrating with Barry. Then you see and hoping that it's Bat Flick, and then here comes Bat Nipples. I mean, here comes George Clooney.
Bat Looney. Yeah.
He's got the Batman credit card.
We were hoping for Affleck, but Tamika's over here being like, please be Keaton, please be Keaton.
Yeah, why Keaton couldn't have just rolled himself in there? I'm like, yo, what's
he
up?
probably was hoping for that, though, too, but I was also hoping for Batfleck to come in, though, too, so I was like half and half, like half sweet, half unsweet, so I was like...
I'll say this, I kind of would have, said this, I would have loved to have seen, if Kevin Conroy had still been alive, it'd have been dope for Kevin Conroy to be the one to get out of the car as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it would, but half the generation would have been like, "Who's that guy?"
It's just like, who's over there? What the hell's wrong with you? Yeah. Kevin Conroy doing Batman one more time, and just like, oh my gosh!
I think they should have had a stretch limo and popped all of them out. Hey.
Have you voiced Batman in any cartoons?
This is the greatest.
Have you ever played Batman? You're in the car.
They should just had the one scene where they're all just like, "No, I'm Batman."
Yeah,
yeah.
Doing the
Spider-Man
shows up
with just that would be perfect.
Yeah,
that would have been
Val Kilmer in there.
It's no longer the Flash movie. It's just Batman in the Multiverse of Madness.
Exactly. That's what I wanted.
Tamika's over here playing Oprah.
Sorry.
You get a Batman. You get a Batman. We all get a Batman.
Exactly. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jamie, because that was actually what I was thinking in my head.
You get a Batman? Yeah.
It's okay. I'm gonna write the DC studios and tell them I need a Michael Keaton Batman movie, and I'm gonna see how.
Though I do want to see that as a Michael Keaton movie, though.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know how it goes when I write them.
Okay, please do. I'd like to know.
Okay,
because so far I've written the script for the new Beetlejuice movie, and I've also written the script for the new what was the other movie that I wrote? Anyways, I wrote another. Oh yeah, I actually gave ideas for Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan for Rush Hour for the next Rush Hour movie. So they need to go on ahead and pay me. So if you can, do me a favor.
Dope.
Gotcha.
By the way, you mentioned Aquaman is the next movie. I think Blue Beetle comes out before Aquaman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aquaman's August and Blue Beetle's August, Aquaman's December. But the way
That's
that
so
they
confusing.
explained it is that Blue Beetle is the first DC new reboot character, but it's not in that timeline. So Aquaman will follow the timeline from where we left off, but Blue Beetle is a different, not a timeline.
I think they should have swapped it, to be honest with you. If Aquaman is not cohesive with anything, have it before Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle should be after that. It would make more sense to me on that.
Yeah, like this is the new phase. And I'm
Right.
closing out the old phase with Aquaman. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Who knows, though, honestly. It is so confusing. Like, James Gunn came out and said that this was like the best movie ever. And now that it's copped so much backlash, he's sort of backtracking and being like, well, we did the best that we can. So,
he just lost.
Back with the time thing.
They paid him a ton of money to say that, I'm sure.
He's the Drake of Twitter. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
With the time thing that we were talking about before, like I think when they release movies, it's a lot more, there's a lot more to it than just, oh yeah, release on this time and whatnot. Like I think specifically with Ezra, like he's got so many court things. I don't think that they want that backlash. Whereas currently, he was able to go to the premiere. Like that was one of his conditions, that he was able to actually go to the premiere of that movie. So I think maybe the release might have had some sort of, that might have had an impact on things as well, like with his court proceedings and stuff. So I think there's a lot more to it than just, hey, let's pick a date,
I did just want to say the one scene, it could have been so amazing at the end, but it wasn't because of the CGI. But it could have been when they were showing all the different worlds of all these different universes colliding into each other in this flashpoint, if you will. And just the horrible CGI just took you out of what an amazing moment that really could have been. Because just to see every, like just the Superman, the Batman, the Flashes, everything throughout all the time throughout the DC universe, if it was done beautifully and like actually nice, that would have been so amazing. You would have actually felt invested. You would have actually felt like those worlds were actually being torn apart. But because they looked so janky, because they looked so shitty, I was just like, some little kids banging toys together.
Did you ever hear the story about the Nicolas Cage Superman thing? Where okay,
that's
I thought it was interesting because they had him fight the giant spider, which was one of the scripts between like Tim Burton's script and then like Kevin Smith's script that they had, where the guy that was the main producer was all like, he's got to fight a giant spider at the end because spiders, pound for pound, are the most dangerous predators in the world. And that guy went on to later do Wild Wild West, where, of course, they fought a giant mechanical spider at the
end. So whatever ideas that they have for Superman, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to put it in here since this one didn't make it.
Not Brainiac, not Toyman, not the Parasite. Not Mr. Mixoplex or Mixoplex, depending on how you say it. Not even just like him and other. Superman has a wide rogues gallery. It's not very large, but it's a wide. They kind of span out different things. But, a lot of them are all based in science, which is why Lex is always so interesting. But you can't have Lex be the villain in every Superman movie.
Right. Otherwise, it's repetitive.
Unless it's, Jesse Eisenberg playing the Riddler as Lex. Because I'm sorry, Batman v Superman, Jesse Eisenberg is playing the Riddler. In my mind.
Yep.
Interesting.
He didn't feel like Lex to me, like at all. Like we could have brought John Cena in there and had him play a better Lex Luthor. And John Cena,
nobody could see him.
Are you the star man?
That was my thing. Sorry, before we go, that was my thing. If the audience was familiar with the background of Nicolas Cage and why he was there, like would that have confused some people? Like, oh, in this universe, there just happens to be a Nicolas Cage as Superman.
I had a dude ask me. I was in a theater when I watched the movie. I was in a theater of 7 people, including myself.
7.
And so 7 total people, yes.
Goodness.
And
Wow.
so I was in there first. I got my prime pick of seats. It was awesome. I wasn't bothered. But at the very end, when I'm waiting on the end credit scene, what's that end credit scene, Derek? Why did I waste 10 minutes of my life to see the end credit scene? But anyway, that's a whole other thing. And the guy comes up to me, he's like, was that Nicolas Cage in a Superman outfit? Why was he in a Superman? Oh, that was a 90s thing. Tim Burton was commissioned to write a Superman movie. There were going to be Superman Returns and or Superman Lives. And he was going to do it, and then that didn't work out. And then Kevin Smith wrote a pass on it, and a whole bunch of people wrote passes on it. It just never came to fruition. And so that was what that was. He was like, okay, that's dope. I didn't know because I recognized Nicolas Cage, but I didn't know why he was there.
Yeah.
That was me. Yeah, guilty. I'm a 90s baby, so I had no idea about that either. And it was only when I asked my husband that he told me, because he's a lot older than me. That he told me that whole story there. So yeah, there would have been a lot of people, but as one of those people, I just thought of it as like a gimmick. I just got a laugh out of it. Like, oh my God, Nicolas Cage is in bloody everything. And I just had a laugh about it, kind of like I did at the end with Clooney coming out. I was like, haha, funny. But this is what I wanted to ask John, if we have a little bit of time, because people are saying, is Clooney now the dad, like the older Batman that we are going to get in Bold and the Brave? So is he going to be the Batman that continues on, or are they starting?
Oh dear God, I hope not.
I hope
a
not.
lot
I
of
don't
people
think they
are
would,
saying
though. Okay, my thing is this. I don't think they would, because number one, that would be another backlash because of Batman and Robin. I think they want to get away from the whole Batman and Robin type of thing. And when this is to move on from the things that we had before. So to put George Clooney into something that's new, I think it would be out of place for him to be there, in my
I
opinion.
understand that. And I think it's funny, but
Mhm.
wouldn't that have been a prime opportunity to introduce Batman that we're going to be introduced to?
And that's what I thought they were doing. Like, from what I understood, they told us. So, I mean, and if that's what we heard, so we're all led to believe that this is the Batman we're going to be getting in the future. Because they told us, they told us that we're going, at the end of this movie, we will be seeing the Batman that will be continuing on forward. And from what it looks like, we have George Clooney moving forward.
Which is scary because Damian in this situation is a whopping maybe 8 years old when he first meets Bruce. And I mean, it's hard enough for Bruce to kind of figure out how they're going to do that. But I mean, if they do the storyline close to the books, I mean, you're going to have to introduce Nightwing. You're going to have to introduce a new Alfred, probably, because I don't think the person that played the Alfred in the other movies is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you're going to have to introduce the Bat family as a whole, because it took the whole Bat family to keep Damian from just killing everybody.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Tim, we're talking about Barbara, we're talking about Nightwing, we're talking about everybody. You don't need the whole family on deck.
Yeah, that's why I was disappointed that they're starting with Bold and the Brave, because I was like, what? We don't get Nightwing or any, like, they're jumping ahead when they're saying with Superman they want to go back to not an origin story, but they want a younger cast and they want to redo sort of like a Smallville thing. And then we go to Batman and we're getting like an old Batman, or a Batman that's elderly, not elderly, but you know what I mean. The focus is on I'm not trying to say that.
I'm joking.
Yeah, you know what I mean though, like being a dad bat, rather than a crime fighting bat. He's still gonna be fighting crime, but the focus will be on Damian. So yeah, it was really confusing to me that they would start with that, but whatever. But yeah,
I wish like they would have went with. Here's the thing: I wish they would actually went with Court of the Owl storyline.
Ooh,
and it's
nice.
Which is a lot deeper comic, and I'll explain what that is. It's basically where you have this whole entire thing set up. It's like an underground legend type thing where you have Alfred, who took care of the Waynes for X amount of years, and then you wind up discovering there's a lot more to the Waynes than meets the eye, and it happens to be within the Court of the Owls.
I'm sorry, but I'm just so against that, only because Gotham Knights recently come out, and that is literally the whole point of the show is the Court of Owls, and they butchered it. They just did such a terrible job of it that I'm like, they can't redo it so soon. Yeah. They really can't. You got to watch it, John.
I don't think enough people watch Gotham Knights to care.
It's terrible.
Wow.
Absolute terrible. And I feel horrible saying that, but it really is. So I don't think that they would be stupid enough. And it's CW's version. So I'm not saying,
Oh,
that explains everything. But I think to bring that in the DC world so soon after that flopped, oh man, it was canned after one season. That's it.
I gotcha.
Damn.
Terrible.
I
Anyway,
mean,
sorry,
we
John,
had
continue.
2 seasons of Batwoman, which really surprised me because the writing on that was just as bad. Poor Ruby Rose. And poor whoever was the girl that's like, oh, we're not going to we're going to replace her with a black girl, but everybody's going to think it's still the same Batwoman. Like, what?
Yeah.
No.
But anyways, that's everything that we had wanted to talk as far as The Flash goes. All in all, it was an okay movie, not the best movie. This movie to me was overhyped for what it was. I knew whenever they said, oh, this is the best comic book movie ever, I had like very low standards because of the fact that none of these have been like the best of the best when you look at comic book movies. I just thought it was an okay movie. I thought I had a good time with it. I was able to stuff popcorn in my face for about 2.5 hours and just have a good time with it. But at the same time, it was just okay. I just wanted it to be better than what I wanted it to be. But that's it.
That's what it needed.
Brother, I need to know what kind of popcorn bowl you got when you were jamming popcorn in your face.
2 hours.
I need to get one of them. I need that kind of like popcorn trash can that you got that you just sit there just the whole entire time. Perfect amount of butter, perfect amount of salt. I need that bowl.
Size bucket. And it
But
needed
I'm
more
gonna say this before we part ways. Look, because I haven't had a chance to say it here, so I'm gonna say it now. Those soulless, Chucky-looking babies that jumped, that were all falling out of the building at the beginning of that movie. Them babies that look like nightmare fuel.
Stunt babies.
They weren't even stunt babies. Don't disrespect stunt babies. I'm just saying, those were horrified looking babies. They're just sitting there looking soulless, like, Barry, come catch us, Barry. We're all gonna die if you don't, Barry. Catch the nurse, Barry. What are we going to do? We've hypnotized him. He doesn't know it, but we all work for Gorilla Grodd secretly. We're just soulless little implants and they're just messing with him psychologically.
Mm-hmm. And put the other one in the microwave and turn it on.
Because,
he was protecting that baby.
Let him cook. It's just like, somebody in my movie theater goes, why would you put a baby in the microwave? Don't you know you're going to kill it? I'm like, the microwave's not plugged up to anything. It's falling out of a window.
Yeah.
There's no electricity.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's about to get lit on fire, and he's protecting it from the fire.
Right. We understand why. It's just all look like the babies just look soulless.
No, I'm saying the person in the theater. Like, how do you?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I was just like, you. Okay.
It's not plugged in. We ain't cooking.
Nobody's cooking a baby. It's fine. The babies are cooking him, but he ain't cooking them. It's fine.
Jordan. All right, John, go. End us out.
Okay, so that's going to be it as far as the show goes. But Will, what do you have coming up on your conversations about ...
So we just dropped an episode on our Pathfinder. Where our crew just came out and did another Pathfinder adventure. We've been doing some role playing. We try to do it about once a month. And so that episode's live now. Next week, our Flash review comes out. And then there may be a Transformers review coming up.
Ooh.
Rise of the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's going to be the conversation of movies that one of us have seen, but the other one hasn't. Because it's either going to be where like they're going to tell me about Transformers and how much they loved or hated it, and I'm going to tell them about how great Cocaine Bear was. It's the greatest freaking movie ever made. It should be an Oscar winner, as far as I'm concerned. Cocaine Bear is the greatest movie ever.
Yeah.
My face is like this because I'm unsure if you're serious or if you're joking.
Oh, I'm very serious. I told John when we talked about this in the trailer review reaction, I said this movie's going to go down in history as one of the greatest movies. It's going to have a biggest cult following ever for a movie about a bear that hits a whole bunch of cocaine and goes on a killing spree.
And it's a true story. That's what makes
Based on a true story, which is a lot sadder than this movie.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Jamie, what do you have coming up as far as your channel goes, where people can follow you and all that other good stuff too?
Sure. You can follow me over on YouTube at In the Front Row YT. My next video that's coming out is a live stream with a panel including Jace and John. We'll be chatting about Marvel's new Secret Invasion show. And after that, I'm covering my Walking Dead stuff. So I'm covering Dead City at the moment. And I will do a Fear the Walking Dead. And then also I've watched a few movies lately that I haven't had time to review. So I've watched Sisu, and I've also watched some stupid rom-com, which is absolutely terrible, that I want to review as well.
What's
so
the
that's
name
what
of the
you can,
rom-com?
I think it was called My Fault. It was like an Italian or Spanish, maybe? Spanish.
Spanish-Italian movie.
I think it's on Prime, actually, not Netflix.
Of
And
course.
yes. Anyway, I'm not going to go into what it is, but anyway, it's really terrible. I'll let you know in the after show. But yeah, so I wanted to do a review of those sorts of things, and obviously my Walking Dead content every week. So yeah, hit me up on there if you want to check that out.
Cool.
And Jason, what about you for you at Multiverse of Geekdom?
For us in Multiverse of Geekdom, guys, we're dropping Titans of the Turf exhibition matches every Monday, which is really excited. We're trying to get one every week until we get to the start of season 2 of Titans of the Turf. And also we're doing trailer reactions left and right, and check out Gaming in the Multiverse on Thursdays, guys.
Okay. As for me, Rossie and I are going to be reviewing another film. And matter of fact, we actually had the privilege to actually have Michael Oblowitz last week. And he's actually directed the new Mel Gibson film. He's also directed some music videos and stuff like that with Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, and all them old cats like that. And I just want to say it was an honor to have him on here. But we're going to be reviewing his film, and I can't wait to tell you what it is. It's actually going to be Confidential Informant. It's not even out in theaters yet or anything like that. But we're going to try and do a non-spoiler review for it, and then have Michael back again for an interview for that. That's everything that's going on over here at Movie Lovers Night. I also just released a trailer reaction for the upcoming Boys Season 4 teaser that dropped. So go on ahead, check that out. And always until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all the new subscribers I have. Without you guys, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. So thank you so much. If you guys want to go ahead and support us, just go on ahead, buy me a coffee, jack me up on some caffeine, and that's how you can donate to the page. Also, too, you guys can go ahead and get yourself a t-shirt from bonfire.com. The links are going to be in the show notes below. If you want to follow these good people, guess what? Those people will actually be in the show notes below as well. Don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Show everybody some love. And always until next time, guys. Bye-bye.